Hello and welcome back. My name is Peyton and I am a speculative fiction writer working on Project Old Lovers. I'm in the first draft. If you're new here, if you are not, welcome back. Glad to have you. And in today's video, we are going to be trying to write every day for a week. Now this means for a work week, so Monday through Friday, and the point is to try out a more consistent writing routine. Typically, I write randomly throughout the week in the evenings when I feel like I have time, or on the weekends. Typically, I'm writing on the weekends. So for this week, I just wanted to see what my productivity levels would be like, what my schedule would be like if I prioritized writing every day. And the big reason why I wanted to try writing every day, push myself, get a little outside of my comfort zone into a little different box, is because you often hear with writers, like, there is no perfect routine. You're not always inspired. The ones that become successful writers are the ones that just rely on a routine and get their butts in the chair and write. And while I do write on a weekly basis, I'm curious. I want to know what happens when it becomes a daily practice. So let's go find out. Monday's writing session took place in the evening around 9 p.m., mostly because it was a busy day of running around and doing errands. When I first sat down to write, it took me a while to get into the flow of things. I didn't really have a game plan when I sat down to do this writing session, but I knew that I was starting to work on a chunk of chapters that was a little harder for me. So I just started with familiarizing myself with my documents, rereading a couple chapters to get into it, doing some brainstorming. But once I got down to it, it ended up being a pretty quick writing session of 30 minutes. In that writing session, I ended up with 807 words. For this writing vlog, I would like to show more of the realistic, real-time writing process. So I didn't record the entire 30-minute session, but I would like to share a bigger 10-minute chunk of that writing with you. So I invite you guys to write with me in this time, work on your own projects. Otherwise, go ahead and skip ahead. There should be some chapters on this video to the next section. So far this week, writing every day has been going really well. I'm not putting out a massive amount of words, less than 1,000 every time I sit down to write, but I think sitting down to write consistently is new to me. It's an adjustment, but the small words are adding up. It's Wednesday and we are already at around 2,000 words for the week. And it's actually helping me work through the current scenes I'm very much in discovery pantser mode for. I did start off the session this morning by putting together a character sheet for the new little side character that popped up, finding their photo and taking some time to think through, write, work through their character and their possible story arc and the role. I think part of discovery is just letting things come to you, putting your butt in the chair and just seeing what comes. And if you've watched my Philip Pullman author routine, he said something along the lines of sometimes you just have to sit your butt down in the chair and write, and that's very much what's happening. Because I'm not used to writing every day, I don't have as much of a clear plan. Like, I know scenes that need to happen, but I don't have as much of a plan on what needs to happen. I'm not feeling as inspired as when I wait the whole week to write. But I think that's just part of it. So we'll see. Maybe I should force myself to do this more often. Sometimes productivity is a matter of what you're prioritizing, which means I am deprioritizing other things right now to do this. So I don't know if it is likely that I will stick to this. Unfortunately, I'm excited to see how the rest of the week goes. So the week has passed, the week is up. I wish I would have updated you guys throughout the week a little bit more. We were pretty successful, I'd say. We wrote every day except Thursday, and the big reason for that is because I needed to get a video out, so the time that I was usually blocking out for writing, I had to spend editing a video so I could post that last week. I am just now getting into a better YouTube routine, but that's a different that's a different aside from a writing routine. So overall, it's good to know that I can write every day. I am capable of writing every day. The top 2 takeaways I'd say from that: one, it's absolutely true. Most of the time, you're not going to feel inspired to write. I would wake up in the morning most days out of this week and say, like, I'm on this one scene, I've been stuck on this scene, it feels like really slow progress, and normally on the weekend I'll just like barrel out most of a scene. But I've just been tinkering away at, I guess it's a couple scenes, but it feels like one big long scene. It's like a tiny arc, if you will. The second big takeaway, working on it every day, I have more of a capacity to think about these little things and take on like little bits of research and to work on harder parts of the story, because I'm in a very like discovery pantser mode right now and just chipping away at it. But it's also a good thing, because in this first draft I found myself like glossing over a lot of details just to get the first draft done and saying, oh, I'll come back to this later. And now I'm at a point where it's a lot more discovery pantsing, and there are details and knowledge and research that I need to fill some of these gaps, even if it's just general knowledge to get the scene written, and I will have to go and do more of a deep dive in developmental edits in draft 2. So altogether, at the end of the week, I've added 3,147 words to my draft, which feels nice. It's not monumental. It's also a little jarring because it's not like I have a big block of time, or at least this past week, I didn't have like a huge block of time. I didn't have like an hour to 3 hours to just sit down and write. It was very much cramming it into my schedule. So I am excited to keep trying some writing routines, try some different ones. Either way, I'm still making really good progress in my first draft. My soft goal is to finish it by Thanksgiving of this year, take a little break from it, and then come back. My hard goal, if I don't reach that for whatever reason, is to finish it by the end of the year, like Christmas, New Year's, which, it's starting to get cold. We're about to go into like a very cozy inside season where we just stay inside. So I'm not too stressed about getting it done. And I would just like to find a routine that works with my current lifestyle. I will say I really enjoyed my 5,000 word day, which was just like a solid chunk of the day dedicated just to writing, removing myself from distractions, including like cooking, cleaning, being in my home, just going to cafes and having a writing date. That by far is my favorite. Another thing I want to try is 10,000 words in a day. But anyway, what is your current writing routine? What have you tried that has and hasn't worked for you? Do you have any suggestions of writing routines that I should try? Let me know down in the comments. I will definitely continue to try out routines and see what works for me. Like, subscribe, and until next time, cheers!